Hey everyone, Carl here with Literate Lessons, and today we're going to start our close inspection of the Paradox Pokemon. Last week we kind of did a quick overview, talked about what all of them do, and kind of gave a brief summary on stats and moves and things like that. And today we're going to start with Iron Bundle, probably the Pokemon that has the highest potential of being very strong in terms of the Paradox Pokemon, mainly due to its very high speed and really good at special attack stat. This thing with a booster energy becomes the fastest thing in the game, hands down. I don't think there is anything that can catch it unless you invest in like Choice Scarf or maybe have some other speed boosting effect on your side like Tailwind. Um, this single-handedly will outspeed pretty much everything in the meta currently. I would compare this to Regieleki. This thing is going to dominate the speed game, and this will be the new benchmark for teams going forward. When you start building your teams for Tailwind, you'll start trying to outspeed bundle after a booster energy boost. You'll start trying to gauge that as your speed diffs, and what it'll come down to is how fast am I compared to this thing. Regieleki did that a lot in Sword and Shield, and another notable thing that Regieleki did a lot was while also being fast, it also provided good speed control. Um, Iron Bundle gets to do the same thing with Icy Wind. So I imagine this will become a very common thing. We'll see Booster Energy Iron Bundle on the lead with Icy Wind next to maybe some kind of anti-fake out mon or something that isn't terribly fast but can use that Icy Wind speed drop on the opponents to its advantage. We'll talk about cores here in a second, but I kind of want to focus in on what Iron Bundle sets will look like. So Iron Bundle as a whole, stat-wise, it's fairly balanced for a special attacker. It does have a fairly high defense, but I think that's more akin to it being an ice type, whereas its special defense and HP are very lacking. So this thing isn't super duper bulky, but where it really shines, like I said, is in that speed stat, in that special attack stat, kind of just pushing the boundaries of how far and how fast we can go and how much damage we can deal. I imagine most sets will be 252 timid with like 4 in HP just for general bulk purposes. You could also see that extra stat in special defense or in defense, just trying to boost one of its other stats in this case. Uh, Outside of this spread, though, I really don't see a world where Iron Bundle deviates from this, mainly due to the fact that booster energy plus speed nature max speed is probably going to be the thing you have to watch, because opposing Iron Bundle will then outspeed you and could remove your booster energy boost essentially with their own Icy Wind. And it's going to essentially come down to speed ties, which is what Regieleki eventually came to, which Regieleki got to carry Sash and was able to kind of finagle its way around the meta a little bit. Sometimes you would always be slower just so you know you wouldn't have to worry about the speed tie. And sometimes that was great and sometimes it wasn't. Iron Bundle, you really have to play booster energy so you can get the max out of this Pokemon, because otherwise other Pokemon that can run booster energy, like Fluttermane, will outspeed you and most likely OHKO you pretty easily. If you're really against booster energy, I believe Focus Sash is the next best item on this thing. Making sure that you live the first hit is fine when you're this fast, because, like I said, even after an Icy Wind, you'll probably outspeed the next turn if you don't outspeed already. And with that said, I do expect to see that same IV spread, 252, 252, 4. Just boost your best stats. Use Quirk Drive to your advantage. If you somehow have an electric terrain setter like Pinchurchin, you can then get essentially a free quote unquote Quirk Drive boost, where the Pinchurchin's electric terrain will activate Quirk Drive for you. It's not as reliable. I believe it only works while electric terrain is up that way. And so you will really struggle if your opponent has opposing terrain control, whether that be Ice Spinner or their own terrain setter like Indeedee. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what other sets people can come up with outside of the standard 252, 52, 4. As for moves, I believe the move set will not change regardless of what item you play. Icy Wind is almost a must-have. Protect feels super important. Chilling Water or Hydro Pump is a must-have, I feel like, as well. One of these two, just so you have Water Stab. We'll talk about how to pick which moves here when we get into cores a little bit and kind of examine the different roles Iron Bundle can do. But just know that Chilling Water and or Hydro Pump are really, really strong on this Pokemon. And the last move is kind of a toss-up. There's some different options here. You have things like Ice Beam, Freeze Dry if you want ice coverage, but also be able to hit water types. You have access to Encore, which is very, very good when you're a very fast Pokemon. You also have access to very fast Aurora Veil if you set this up next to like an Abomasnow with Snow Warning. Outside of that, there's some weird physical moves. You have Flip Turn, which kind of lets you get out of the way if you need to. You have Helping Hand for support. You have a very fast Taunt if you're interested in that. Obviously, you have Terra Blast, which could actually be your water type move because most of the time when you terrasilize this Pokemon, you will probably be Terra Water. You never want to probably be Terra Ice. Terra Ice is bad. Terra Water is probably where it's at because then you get really good stab Chilling Water. Your Terra Blast would be a base 80 move that would always hit. It would always be a water type attack and could probably pick up some significant KOs even with just a neutral hit. Other notable moves that we get access to, Electric Terrain, which is really interesting. You could set your own terrain for your other Quark Drive Pokemon. This would also be good to just like prevent a Moongus sleep if that's something you're really interested in. Could be a cool, unique tech move. Fast Rain Dance, fast Snowscape. Both of those things are very good. Snowscape notably makes your defense even more insane because that 114 base then gets gets a 1.5 times multiplier on top of that. So if that's something you're interested in, you're playing like a snow team and you want a second way to set the snow, that's an option for you. You have access to other water type moves, and you even have access to Air Cutter if you want that flying type coverage, but still want to be that special attacker. Now let's take a look at a couple cores that Iron Bundle will probably thrive in. The first one being this hyper offensive example with Iron Bundle, Flunderbane, and Indeedee Female. One of the big things that people will be doing to stop Iron Bundle from doing its job is using Fake Out, and Indeedee Female helps that out a ton with its Psychic Surge ability, which sets up the Psychic terrain. And you also are playing Booster Energy, so you will be the fastest thing on the field 9 times out of 10 outside of opposing Iron Bundle or very fast Tailwind. Fluttermane here is actually the big damage you want to play with, mainly due to the fact that you have Dazzling Gleam and Shadow Ball, and it benefits so much because it's also very fast, but because our booster energy is on that Iron Bundle, we can't abuse that here. So Iron Bundle being the fastest thing, getting to click that Icy Wind, means that our Fluttermane is at minimum most of the time going to speed tie other Fluttermane, because they will be back to neutral speed, neutral boosts on their speed if we get to do our Icy Wind thing. Another notable thing is if you wanted to really play this with another Pokemon, Torkoal would be a great option here. Just kind of like an answer to Trick Room. It sets up Drought for your Fluttermane. It answers grass types that will be a problem for Iron Bundle. And while you are very special heavy in this situation, you do have access to like Trick Room and Redirection to help protect your Torkoal, help protect your Iron Bundle, and you could just slap on 2 physical attackers here on the end, and this would make a fantastic core for any team to work with. The second core, and the more interesting one I think to build around, is a rain type of core. We have currently been seeing Pelipper with Palafin doing Jet Punch, Wave Crash, Mystic Water boosted stuff. You have access to very fast Flip Turn, which is really cool. One of the cool things you could do here with this Iron Bundle set is it could kind of be like a bait and switch kind of situation where you have this booster energy iron bundle. They expect it, they know it's coming, but then you don't lead the iron bundle. You lead Pelipper, you lead Iron Hands, or you lead other threats with your Pelipper, and you can kind of pivot around and get iron bundle into a situation where it can click those very strong chilling waters in the rain, those very powerful freeze dries, and kind of abuse the fact that iron bundle has a base 124 special attack stat, while also making sure that you're kind of in that support role still. Iron Hands makes a good partner here. Iron Bundle answers a lot of the flying and ground types that would be a problem for Iron Hands, and Pelipper checks all of those ground type immunities that would be a problem for Iron Hands in general. A lot of what this little trio here does is it kind of just is very good checks and balances for each other. Pelipper answers the grass types. That'd be a problem for Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle is your speed control to kind of help get Iron Hands in a spot where if you don't have Trick Room set up, Iron Hands might outspeed something. This set honestly could also be probably get away with Modest and not have to worry about being min speed. And so that puts you at 70 with Tailwind or -1 drop from Icy Wind could easily mean that Iron Hands outspeed something in the late game to pick up a KO. And there's plenty of other ways to build Iron Bundle outside of those two examples. One of the common things I've been seeing in teams is like an Iron Bundle, Arcanine, and a Mungus core. And it really is very strong defensively and can cause a lot of problems for people who are trying to get ahead early against this type of team. Obviously, this fills the Fire, Water, Grass core very, very well. You will probably still be Terra Water on your Iron Bundle because you want max damage Hydro Pumps. You'll still be playing that Icy Wind, and you'll probably be playing either Booster Energy or Sash, depending on what you want what your other teammates look like. I know that I've seen like Booster Energy, Roaring Moon next to this thing, just so you deal massive damage because again, you're still really fast even without the booster energy. When you naturally outspeed everything but like Dragapult, Electrode, and a few other things, it's really hard to just not have to worry about outspeeding this thing. The Arcanines usually are like Intimidate. Sometimes they're Flash Fire, but you play Terra Grass just because it's the best typing for it. You're resistant to ground, resistant to water. Amoonguss, I've seen a million different Terra types for. Terra Dark's common. I've also seen people just playing Brute on it. And having a good physical attacker, a good special attacker, and some very good damage reduction with Arcanine. And this is another very strong core that you could kind of slot onto most teams and still do really well. And that's all I've got this week on the Iron Bundle. Overall, I think Iron Bundle has the most upside going forward. There's a lot that Iron Bundle does really well, and obviously that speed stat is going to be the big defining factor. It's going to have the same exact impact that Regieleki did. Everyone's going to be trying to catch this thing, and it'll either A, make the format very diverse and super cool, or it'll make it very centralized and still cool, but it'll be more easy, I would say, to predict what people are going to do. Again, if you liked what you see, make sure to do all that fun YouTube stuff for us. Like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. And we will see you next time for Iron Hands. Bye, everyone.